Greetings, everyone, and welcome to We Are ACEDS, streaming live on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. My name is Mike Quartararo. I am the president of ACEDS. Today, we are going to be joined by Candice Hunter Corby, the Chief Executive Officer at Cobra Legal Solutions, a professional services provider in e-discovery and the legal industry. As I began research for this interview, a couple of things stuck out to me. First, like me, Candice spent a number of years working in leadership at law firms. And second, she's a woman and a leader in a male-dominated industry, and she has an affinity for diversity and inclusion initiatives, which I am also interested in. We like to highlight successful people generally, but more so when it comes to women, people of color, and so on and so forth. Thanks to Maribel Rivera, who heads our Inclusion, Diversity, Equality, Access, and Awareness Committee, we just thought it made sense for us to get together and talk about the great things Candice and Cobra Legal are doing. Candice, welcome to We Are ACEDS Live. Thanks so much for making time for us today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mike. Thanks so much for having me. And you definitely hit on something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is diversity and inclusion. So I can't wait to talk about it and can't wait to talk about Cobra. Obviously, it's what makes me thrive.
And I can appreciate that. For those who don't know, tell our listeners a little about Cobra Legal Solutions.
So Cobra is a global organization of amazing attorneys and technologists, e-discoverists, I would say, that are very, very versed in everything they do. We have team members that just absolutely are off the charts in their abilities. So I always joke and say I've assembled the Avengers, and many of you might know some of those individuals. They come from big law firms, big companies like IBM and Dell and Relativity. Doug Kaminsky's my CRO from Relativity. He's now at Cobra. Renee Meisel is my chief legal officer, comes from Dell. Mahesh Krishnan is prior IBM. Kendra Smith is, from a large law firm and, has a huge background in e-discovery and then also decided to take the patent bar for fun. We have a lot of Relativity masters on our team, which is also quite unique. Cobra just acquired a forensics and collections company in the last 2 months. So we also have expanded that footprint, but a major global entity that is extremely collaborative with amazing footprint in financial services, in pharma and life sciences industry are some big specialty areas of ours. So really happy to be here.
That sounds like a handful. Let me ask you a question, because I know you have this history of leadership roles at, big law and so forth. What interested you in making this transition? It seems a little odd from, big law to legal service provider.
So the interesting thing there is, so I was, as Mike said, I was at Godwin Gruber in Dallas, then Baker McKenzie, and then Mayor Brown in New York City. So about a 450 attorney, office in New York City. From there, a very persistent recruiter kept calling me and wanting me to do this. And initially, I like you, Mike, thought, why in the world would I want to do that? But then I started understanding the shift in what was happening in the legal community, and specifically in e-discovery and what we were doing, being able to offer something different and making things accessible. And I think that's a big word, is accessibility. And when you think about that, it's not only from a diversity perspective or an equity perspective for individuals, but it's also from companies and sizes of companies. So if you're offering a service that is exceptional and much better, but at a price point that's affordable, not cheap, not the lowest, but affordable and makes sense, then more people have access to that. And more people have the ability to thrive and survive in this industry and around the globe. And that's something that I focus on, not only with our clients, but also internally with our employees and the communities that we serve. So accessibility to services, accessibility to financial success for our employees, and just personal success. So I think that it goes all the way around. And that was one of the driving factors for me, is doing something that could impact a greater community. And that's a community across the globe. US, India, give opportunity for women and those of color and those that don't have necessarily the same opportunity across the globe. If you think about a woman in India in a law firm, she's likely to stay as an associate her entire career unless her dad owns the firm. But at Cobra, our most senior lawyer in India is a female. And she runs all of our doc review, and across the whole organization, we're 63% women and 89% diverse.
That's pretty remarkable, given, I mean, what I know about the industry over many years. But let me dig in a little bit here. I understand diversity and inclusion are something that are really near and dear to you. How does DEI factor into the work that you personally do and into the culture at Cobra Legal Solutions?
So it's really part of the fabric of who we are. I mean, it's that tapestry that's woven all the way through Cobra, our collaboration and our diversity and inclusion and equity across the globe. We have a DEI global group, and we have a head in the US and a head in India. They do a tremendous job. We have a week-long event called the Cobra Life Week, and we support diversity, inclusion, and equity during that week with poetry and with song and with writings and you name it, share that across and do different things. Every day is a different themed event throughout the week. We celebrate all holidays and festivals globally. That's not an easy task, but it's actually a lot of fun. Why wouldn't you want to celebrate something if you can? But also we do things like blind testing, double blind testing when we're hiring. So we don't necessarily know what someone's, religious affiliation is, or their color, their skin color, or their gender, or their sexual orientation. We know none of that when they're taking their exam. So we hire the best person for the job. And it just so happens that 89% of the best people are diverse.
That's incredible. That's actually quite amazing. It's like The Voice, right? you don't see the contestant, you just hear the voice, and you have to judge on the voice. Yeah, that's amazing. So you've been a leader in the space for quite some time, and anybody, I'm known for saying this, but anybody who has half an eye open would recognize that obviously there's a disconnect. It's a very male-dominated industry. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about your leadership journey? And by that, I'm asking, how and when did you come to realize that you were interested in leadership? Was there a moment? Did a light go off? Did a particular event spark you to have interest in being a leader in the space?
So here's an interesting thing about me, Mike, or a couple. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. Grew up in a very modest home, and sort of always fought against, I fought for my voice and my space at the table and the extra pork chop, whatever. So 4 older brothers and an older sister. So if I was going to be heard at a table of 8 to 10 people, I had to be pretty forceful at it, right? So
yeah, that's training.
There never was a time in my life that I could tell you I wasn't a leader. Some might have said I was bossy as a kid. My response to that is I'm not bossy. I just have better ideas. And so I grew up in that manner. There's not very many organizations that I was a part of that I wasn't holding a leadership role. So I used to tell people I've been 40 my whole life, and I can't say that anymore because now I'm 50. So that's, but that being the case, I've always had an eye for how do we do it better? How do we include everybody and move the ball forward? So I think there never was just one time that said, how do you want to be a leader? or do you want to be a leader in a space or in a whatever, it's always been, how do I help and how do I make it better? And because of that, those around me, under me, and above me either pushed me up, pulled me up, or whatever. So it wasn't necessarily me saying, hey, let me lead this, or when do I want to, crack the glass ceiling. No, it was always, how do we do something better tomorrow than we've done today?
Okay, so let me try to dig in a little bit here because I want to get something from you for our audience. Imagine you're sitting on a stage in front of an audience of young female entrepreneurs. Based on your career journey thus far, what 1, 2, or 3 pieces of advice would you give to them?
Couple of things. One is listen. Really listen. Not just, to what you want to hear. Listen to everyone, because every single person has something valid to say. Mm-hmm. You might not agree with everything they say, but you're going to get something out of it, and you're also going to get their support because you've listened. So that's key. Always listen. Be the best listener you possibly can be. Create your own board of directors. And what I mean by that, and this is a fluid board of directors. So Mike, you just came onto my board of directors, by the way. I've just elected you. So what I do is I find people and avenues on, if there's something I don't know about or I don't understand, and don't be afraid that you don't know everything, because none of us know everything, right? We're always learning, continue learning, but create a board of directors, seek out people who know things you don't and fill the gaps, right? Always try to illuminate your blind spots. We all have them. Nobody knows everything, and you don't have to know everything. That's another thing. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to check off every single item on the job description and say, oh, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, to be able to apply for the job, right? Because let me ask you this. If you're applying and you want to run for office, say you want to be president of the United States. Well, guess what? You've never been president of the United States before. How can you check the box and say, well, I've done that, so therefore you then should elect me? Well, that's not possible, right? So it's not possible for you to have every single skill and attribute for every job you're applying for or everything you're doing in life. Understand that it's a 60-40 rule. You know 60% and you're going to learn 40% when you get there.
Yeah. And that balance could vary depending upon
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And so the other thing is believe in yourself.
Yeah.
One of the biggest mistakes I made in my career, and we all make mistakes, all make mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes was I thought that everybody knew better than me. And so my gut would tell me go right. And, others were telling me go left. And so I was like, gee, that doesn't make sense. And this is why, and whatever, but they're senior to me. So they must know better than me. Well, trust your gut.
Yeah.
Get advice, ask your board of directors. And again, your board of directors is, your collaboration of people that you go to ask help for, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask questions, ask for help, and really listen to everybody around you, but trust your gut. Because you're not doing things and you're not in your role because you don't know what you're doing. You're in your role because you do. And you're there because of your abilities. And so trust your gut. Understand that you're there for a reason. So those would be my 3.
Those are fantastic. And I have a very similar philosophy. Thank you for asking me to join the board, by the way. All right. Circling back to diversity and inclusion, I understand you recently were given the Global Business and Interfaith Peace Award for advocacy. Can you tell us what that's about and what that means to you?
So the Religious and Business Organization, along with the United Nations, selects every year companies and organizations and people who are out in the community and in the globe that support true religious freedom and equality in the workforce and bringing your full self to work. Well, Cobra Legal Solutions, along with companies you may know like Intel and Tyson Foods received the bronze medal for advocacy. And that's because at Cobra, we celebrate every festival and holiday worldwide. We let everybody be their full selves and bring their full selves to work. So because of that, we are religiously inclusive as well as every other possible methodology. We have Christians, we have Muslims, we have Jews, we have, you name it, every single area, and everyone celebrates who they are and we celebrate them. I was just fortunate, I am fortunate to be the CEO of a company that is so fabulous, and the collaboration of this team and this company globally is just tremendous. And it's really a testament to them, not really me, that I won this award. It's a bronze medal. The United Nations wanted me to be in Tokyo to receive the award before the Paralympics. Unfortunately, with COVID, I was unable to travel there to receive it. So I received the award virtually. That's actually on our YouTube site. So you can see the acceptance speech as well as an overview of what Cobra does and our team, a great video about our India operation, and all of that is on that YouTube site as well. But really, really excited. And it's a testament to who we are as an organization, that every single person feels included, and the collaboration between the teams. It's just fantastic.
It sounds fantastic. It sounds like a great place to work. Candice, this has been great. Thank you so much for making time for us. Before we go, is there anything new, anything interesting, any announcements you want to make that you want to share with our audience?
Well, a couple of things. One, I mean, I said it earlier, but I'll reiterate it. Cobra just acquired Digital Discovery, a forensics and collections company in Dallas, Texas. We're very, very excited about that. We're happy to bring those team members into the fold with us. Full on EDRM from one end to the other now. So excited for that and looking for a lot of growth. Just thanks for having me. I really appreciate the time this morning, and look forward to everything ACEDS is doing.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in our short form video interviews, please look for us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and check out ACEDS on our YouTube channel, where you can watch previous interviews and live streams. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day, everyone, and be kind to one another.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.